Super Dave here with another review. Super Dave here with another exciting review, and today this is another special review because I'm covering one of my favorite series, which is the Avengers. Marvel's The Avengers. Now, I'm a big DC fan, Superman guy, right? I mean, I've always been over Batman with Superman. I mean, I love Superman. He's one of my favorite from childhood. But I've said it before in videos, if you watch my videos, that the Marvel movies are what caught me. I'm still a big DC Comics fan and Superman fan, but I have to say the movies are what reeled me in. I mean, I watched all of them and I love them. My favorite is Infinity War. And unfortunately, in Infinity War, this character we're covering today wasn't in there, but she made an appearance in Endgame, and I needed her to round out some of my collection here. I don't have everybody. I still need a few characters, but I really needed a Captain Marvel, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. Now, I did not like the Marvel Legends Captain Marvel that they released, and I missed out on the SH Figure Arts Tashami Nation, release, which those are awesome figures. But this is, I believe, my first 1/12 Mezco Toys figure. And I'm not a big real clothes person. I do love this Steve Rogers made by Not a Studio. You can't beat that. It doesn't look bulky. I mean, from a distance, you wouldn't know if that was plastic or real clothes, but that's real clothes all the way down to the underwear. But some of the ones, they just look too bulky. And so I was a little concerned, but seeing pictures of this Captain Marvel, oh man, I think she's going to be awesome. So taking a look at the box very quickly, Mezco 1/12 as you see. And by the way, we can slide this cover off. Let's go ahead and do that, and that'll give us a little bit more of a clarity there. But look at that. Isn't that nice? I love the fact that's an anti-glare box. It's not showing my ring, right? My light ring. That is the action figure in those poses, ladies and gentlemen. And I think she's amazing. Look at all those accessories. She comes with a real jacket. And yes, those are real tights that she's wearing. So and 3 head sculpts. I mean, I'm just excited about checking out this 1/12 Mezco action figure. And so let's take a look at it together and break open the box. And so we want to go ahead and slide this slip cover off, and there's the action figure inside. Comes with a base and all those accessories. Just a pretty plain, there is a logo on the back there, but pretty plain box. Let's go ahead and really break open the box this time. And there is our Carol Danvers with all of her accessories. So we've opened the package this far and pulled off some of the stuff, but now let's go ahead and remove her, go over to the review booth and check her out. We're going to join the other Avengers and let them be introduced to Carol Danvers, played by Brie Larson. Head sculpt is based on her. So meet me over at the review booth. And here is our Carol Danvers, looking great. There's a full 360 of her. You can see that real outfit, those tights, the base she's standing on. She's very hard to stand up, so I had to use her base and the peg. She does have pegs in the bottom of her feet. But let's go ahead and start with our Captain Marvel's accessories. So to start out with, let's look at the hands that she comes with. And these hands are wonderful. She's got these open palm hands, a left and a right. These gripping hands, a left and a right. And just ignore the Figma stand here, but it helped me out because these are so tiny. and then this kind of reaching hand, and then a hand with a finger kind of extended. These are a little different. And of course, she's wearing the fisted hands back there. So those are the hands that she has equipped. Next accessory I want to look at is Captain Marvel's cat named Goose. It's, of course, not really a cat. It's an alien called a flurkin, which is a crazy-looking monster. That's what it looks like when it comes out of its shell, so to speak, there on the screen. But anyway, there has been some complaints that this cat's eyes are not quite centered, just has a weird look. Doesn't quite look movie accurate, of course. Doesn't look much like a cat. There's something quite off about its face. But anyway, it's cool that she comes with a cat. Nice fur detail and the shading and the collar. Certainly some good detail, but the face just is missing something. The next accessory that we want to take a look at is these really cool charging hands effect. And these come kind of like alternate hands. There's actually green hands on the inside like they're charging, and you plug them right into the holes for the pegs for the holes for the hands. And so these are just really neat. They're translucent, so you see the lights bouncing off of them and through them to give them that really neat charging effect. So one for each hand, and that's just really cool. So you have that particular function as well. Just take one more spin here of these. Really cool. The next accessory that our Carol Danvers comes with is the actual blasts that come from her hands after they've charged, and those are really cool. Again, they plug right in. There's almost like little green translucent hands where they plug in there at the bottom, and then they shoot out these rays and look very authentic. So there you have the blasting effects that come out of her hands that she uses that were very deadly in the movie, that come right out of her hands. Really cool accessory. We'll try these on when we take a closer look at her. And then the next accessory that we want to look at is these lightning type charging effects that also go over her hands, and they're just really cool. So that's a neat feature, and you can put them possibly on her feet or over her hands or wherever you need to put them for the effect that we need at the time of posing. But really cool. I call it kind of a lightning effect. You've been seeing the long hair head sculpt that she comes with packaged, but she also has this really cool with the mohawk coming through the helmet like she uses when she's going into full flight mode and charging in the battle with those white eyes. Really good head sculpt with that hair, the mohawk coming back there. That's just, I think, a really good effect, a really good detail. The paint work is phenomenal on these head sculpts. The hair, the shading, just really good all the way around. And then the next one actually has the translucent hair. So there's like that glowing effect that will take place when she's charging and charged up and ready to power through something with her lightning pulses in her hands and the charge of blasts that go from her hands. You see a little bit of the light catching that hair right there. And then again, a very excellent painted head sculpt. Looks great. And also she comes with a Tesseract square that contains the Tesseract stone, the blue stone, which I believe was the space stone, and that Thanos was looking for. So she comes with that, and that's a really cool jewel to have. I had one of those that came with my Loki 2-pack, but it's really neat to have one in this size, and this one is a little bit more realistic looking, the detail. And then last but not least, the little pager Nick Fury had to page her right at the end of Infinity War's movie, the little hidden scene. And there's that little pager. It's so tiny. There's the back of it. And there's the front of it, that little pager. He paged her right before he disintegrated into ashes, which led to her movie, then her being in Endgame. Really cool accessory. And then the final accessory that she comes with is this really cool flight jacket. I mean, check this out. It's a leather jacket, has the American flag, has the flight wings. Look at the zippers. I mean, check the detail out on there. It's got the zippers on there. Just really, really neat. And then also look at this. See if we can get a good picture of that. The airplanes, the wings, the feathers, the star. And look at even the elastic around the bottom, just like a real jacket from that time period, a flight jacket. The size of the cuffs, everything is just, look, the little chevron, the places you'd put the chevrons, I guess, on the top, the shoulders. I mean, just all that cool detail. The pockets are actually drawn on, but really nice. It's made out of a really nice material. Good feel to it. It always has like somewhat of a soft leather feel to it. Just really neat. Can't wait to try that on her later on in this review when we take a closer look. So as we look at our Captain Marvel's articulation, starting off with the head here, because of all that hair that she has, you're not going to be able to look back very much. Only about that much. There's not very much at all looking back. You're going to be able to tilt down a little bit until, again, that hair hits the chest. And so you see that issue. But overall, because of the fact we have a situation again where that ball joint there is pretty much stationary, and then it's going to rock and maneuver on the neck, and then even the head on that neck gets some motion there. But because of that, you get very good pivoting and turning and motion all the way around. Not going to be able to turn all the way because, again, the hair hits the shoulders, but you are going to get a lot of pivoting and expressions. So that's cool. That's good. Moving on to the arms, she's going to be able to go up all the way. You're not going to want to go 360 because, of course, you don't want to tear the clothing. But she's able to go better than 90 degrees up, hitting that shoulder. There's no butterfly joint, unfortunately. Of course, swivel, but there's no bicep swivel there. But you do have a single jointed, and you get maybe a little better than 90 degrees, maybe just at 90 degrees there on the arm. But you do have a elbow swivel there in place of the bicep swivel. So, and then you have hinge and twist, of course, on that ball peg with a hinged ball there for the wrist. And then moving on to the torso area here, she has a ball joint under her bosom, so she's able to get a good amount of range there. As far as crunching forward with that, you get a little bit. As far as going back with that one, you don't get much. But then there's another hinge right here under the belly, so she's going to be able to crunch forward again with that. And then that's where you're going to get your back bend, is with that next joint there in her belly area, right below her belly, a hinge there. And then, of course, as far as turning, that ball joint's going to give you the turning, being able to get pretty good range of motion there with that. You're not going to turn much at the waist. It swivels a little bit, but it's mighty tight, so I'm not sure it's supposed to very much there at that point. Moving on to the legs, you're going to be able to kick forward about that much, not much back at all. Now, there's a part that goes right up into the pelvis area that swivels, and there's also a thigh cut right here above the thigh, so you get two rotations there. And as far as splits, you're not going to be able to get too much because you're going to stretch the material of the cloth, the clothes, but you will be able to kick sideways pretty good amount, about like that, without that leg coming out of the side. And then you're going to be able to get a single jointed knee. And I was checking that really close, but it is a single jointed knee, and you see the motion is a little better than 90 degrees. That's how far it goes back. And there's our Captain Marvel behind there. You see the outlining of the striping that's really nice on these clothes, the detail that they use on this real tights, the tights that are actual really on this figure as clothes. They're tight enough and they're accurate enough. You don't see a lot of seams. You see some under the arm there, but it's really good. And then moving on to the, there's no swivel boot cut or anything. There's a little bit of a wiggle there, but that's just the joint. And then there is a turning at the foot. You can turn that. It goes up only about that much because the tongue of the boot, so to speak, or the shoe hits the shin of the boot. It's able to get almost tiptoes there, and you get pretty decent rockers out of those as well. No toe hinge. So there you have your articulation as far as the body. Let's go ahead and pop off this head and put on our next head to check out the articulation of the with the flight type head on there. And so she's able to look back quite a bit more with that because there's nothing limiting the head motion. It is going to show a little bit of a gap there, but it does look up well enough. And then when you incorporate the torso and there, you're going to be able to get those flight poses pretty good. All right. And then of course she's going to be able to look down all the way, touching her chin to her chest. And then she's going to be able to get, of course, excellent head pivoting again with that system all the way around. So it looks good. And just to quickly look at the other one, you're talking about basically the same thing. So basically the same exact articulation. We're going to go ahead and leave that one on there so that we can take a closer look at Captain Marvel with some of her accessories attached. Be right back. And there is our Captain Marvel's kind of charging hands effect. You can see the light hitting that pretty good there. That's looking cool. So she's charging those hands, getting ready for that beam blast that she does with her hands. Let's take a look at that next. And there is those blast hand effects. So they're coming at you. She's able to blast forward, blast those blasters from her hands, the power of that. It's almost like there's hands kind of built in side of there somewhat. They're clear, but you can kind of see the thumb or palm coming out on this side. I put them in the right hands there, but she's going to be able to do that. Really cool. Looks great. See the light catching that. Looks really neat. Very cool. Like catching that hair too there on the side. It's got to position those elbows right and that hinged peg right so that it doesn't droop. And so you can, I turned it so it go this way so it won't go up and down and droop on you when you're doing the blast effects. But just a cool effect, really neat. Now let's take a look at the lightning effect. And there she is with those lightning effects on her hands. And I guess they could be strapped to her shoes as well when she's in flight mode. And they could also be used kind of as a charging effect prior to the ball blast effect that we looked at as well. But there you see how they could be used there. They're really nice looking. They're really shiny, translucent. It goes from a blue to a green to almost a yellow, fiery look on the edge. So just a really nice effect. Looks really good on our Captain Marvel. Alright, now let's check those small accessories that she came with. And there is our Captain Marvel holding that pager. And you can see that right there in her hand. That little pager. I don't have a Nick Fury, so that's what I really need here to show off this pager. But hopefully I'll get a Nick Fury eventually. But there's a little pager that she comes with. And there's our Captain Marvel holding the Tesseract. That square that has that Tesseract blue space stone inside. Just really cool. It's a good size too. Really detailed. I like the composition of it, the frostiness of it, but also the way it catches light. It's really neat, I think. Zoom in there so you can see it good there. There we are. Really cool effect. Let's take a look at that flight jacket next. And there's Captain Marvel with her coat on, and that is looking excellent. Very realistic, really nice touch. Just really cool how she is sporting that, and the way it wears, being it is a real coat on a miniature scale. It just lays perfectly. Everything's great. It was a little challenging to get on, but that would be expected. I did do it without the hands, thinking that would be the easiest way, but I'm not sure. I haven't tried it with the hands. Maybe better with the balled fist, because the peg kept catching on things going through the sleeve. You would think taking the hands off would be the easier route, but I think maybe the fist may be the easier route. But anyway, that is up to the user, but it's really cool looking. Check her out. She's a very beautiful action figure. I think she is good to the far as the accuracy of the movie portrayal. The hair looks really cool, especially at this distance, even though it is that hard, rigid plastic. Let's go ahead and take a little closer look at that jacket. Take a closer look here, zooming on in. See that American flag, really cool detail. Again, that old plane style with those wings, flight wings. The texture, see little loops at the top of the shoulders for like the chevrons that would go. The real zipper, the threads, everything. This just looks really good. Even down to that classical elastic puffy cloth around the sleeve and the waist. Just looks really neat all the way around. Flight wings on the chest. This looks really cool. She's looking great. Get one more spin here. There's those flight wings on the chest there. Alright, so there's the jacket. So I hope you've enjoyed this review. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, share. We would love to have you tell us what you think, and come back for another Super Dave review. This has been a special based on the Avengers, and I wanted to go over one of my editions. I haven't reviewed all of my Avengers, but I certainly wanted to review this one. This one's special, kind of my first 1/12 Mezco with real clothes action figure, and boy did she come with some great accessories. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for some great photos of this figure with the Avengers.